Mo Diabate is headed from Alabama to Kentucky. Should be a good interior presence for Mark Pope's squad. Numbers at Alabama won't blow you away, given the role that he played: 7.2 points, 5.9 boards per game. But Dion, he is somebody who NATO seemed to rely on when they needed a tough physical presence inside, and he showed flashes of being a high end player who could thrive in a bigger role. Don't know if he's going to get like a giant role at Kentucky, but he's going to fill a need, certainly. What do you make of the fit, first off?
I think the fit of not just him, all the bigs that they're bringing in,
Yeah.
is very good. All the bigs, Mo Diabate, limited minutes, but he averaged nearly a steal a game, just under a block a game. If you look at all the bigs, they average a good amount of blocks and steals. It's very clear what Mark Pope wants to do differently with the bigs. I think Mo Diabate is very athletic. Um, he rebounds really well, as well, scores well too. For
Yeah.
how over 7 points a game in under 16 minutes is very good. Um, so I feel like he fits great. They're looking for athleticism. They're looking for physicality. They're looking to block shots. And you know what they want to do off of that, and that's run. And Mo Diabate, he will block a shot and then be the first one down the court too.
Yeah.
So I think the fit of not just him, but all the bigs Mark Pope is bringing in is phenomenal. And what I like about it is, I don't doubt I'm saying his name right, but Quaidance,
Mm.
tore his ACL. Just had surgery, I want to say about a month ago, maybe even slightly underneath that. He's cleared for contact in September, which I think is a good thing if you're a Kentucky fan. He
Mm.
won't be 100%. Like, he might be playing in October, November, but you're really looking for him to turn it up around January, conference play.
Yep.
I think Mo Diabate is able to get you to conference play. Malachi Moreno is able to get you to conference play. Like they're bringing in guys that help them get to when Quains is able to come back, and also are willing to play a role with Quains once he's back as well.
Yeah, and the thing with Dubate too is he has some versatility to his game. He shot 46% from three last year, and that's not the kind of shooter that he is. He only took 26 attempts. For his career, he's 35%. And I think that's probably more apt to who he is. Bama played him at the five a lot because they needed that toughness as they were bringing Amori into the fold and kind of dealing with some of his up and down play. But Debate is only 6'7", 215. And so putting him at more of the four, if he continue to show he can knock down the three, and putting him at more of the four, I think just opens things up in an incredibly ideal way for Kentucky. The issues with Kentucky last year on the defensive end, and some of that was just personnel wise. Diabate to me is somebody who's going to be a phenomenal defender for them because he's been a phenomenal defender for Alabama, a phenomenal rebounder. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up being like the long term starting four, meaning like he's the one who starts majority of the games of the four next year, and potentially going into senior season as well. Starts at the four. Like he's got that kind of upside.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think he's a really good fit next to Quaidens. I think he's going to have to develop to get 30 plus minutes a game, develop somewhat a little bit more of a 3-point shot, less like the shot, because like you said, he shot 40% from three, but just more so the volume. Because Mark Pope wants to shoot. And him and Quaidens, I think, have the ability, mostly Diabate, but like could have the ability to develop that. But I think there's going to be a lot of moments where Mark Pope's going to want to go small and to have the shooting. Mo Diabate's.
We interrupt this sleepers video to talk directly to you, our loyal listener. Have you ever found yourself watching us two idiots thinking, hey, I wish there was a very easy, small way for me to show a token of my appreciation for all of their hard work on all these videos I love to watch? Well, now we have just the way to do that.
Thanks to the beautiful folks over at Underdog Fantasy. They are helping us out this month, presenting a lot of the content coming out this month, giving you a chance with a amazing offer that you can use using our promo code that Gregory will tell you more about.
Yeah, so college hoop season's over, but we got like big time golf tournaments. The NBA playoffs are coming. Baseball season's underway. There's still a bunch of sports on. There's still a bunch of ways to play with Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SLEEPERS. As a new customer, you can get up to 1,000 bonus credits plus a free pick. It's one of the most fun ways to play. It's a great way to support us. And on some actual like non-ad read stuff, talking genuinely here, really helps us, because if Underdog loves us, if we get a lot of people to sign up, they're going to help us continue to bring you the content that you love. Show your support. Join Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code SLEEPERS. Get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a free pick.
Off-season job, I guess you could say, is to tell Mark Pope, don't worry, you ain't got to do that. Like, I'm your guy, and you don't have to go small type of thing. And I think if he's able to do that, I think you're going to see him play 30-plus minutes a game. I do believe he starts no matter what, though. And I think he starts for 2 years at Kentucky. But I think what you're going to see in the build-up to Quain's being able to play, like, his high-level minutes you will see one day is a lot of Mo Diabate at the 5, too.
Mm-hmm. The versatility of both those options makes him appealing. I want to say both these things. I think both these things are true. I don't think you make the move from Bama to Kentucky without a payday. I don't think Kentucky has the payday if there's not a major role plan for you, right? So that's part one. Part two is, how many guys is Mark Pope going to play 30 minutes a game? Like, it might be zero, just the amount of guys he wants to have and depth. Because Brandon Garrison's still on this roster, and Acquaintance is there. You have Moreno, you got Diabate. Like, you're gonna have a 4-person big man rotation, and the idea is all of them are gonna play, decent amount of minutes. You can probably play him 25 minutes a game, 22 minutes a game, and be good with that. And if you're Diabate, you're good with that. You played 60 minutes per game this past season at Alabama. If you bring just the same thing you brought, right, where you're shooting 4 or 5 shots a game, getting your 6 boards, I think Kentucky takes that. But the upside of there being more, right, where you are more of a rim protector, more of a versatile defender, someone who you're going to probably shoot a couple more threes a game. Maybe there's a bigger offensive role for you. Kind of depends what happens with the guards, and how some of these freshmen come up to speed for Kentucky. He's not going to be like their superstar. He's not going to be, on the ESPN graphics when they're talking about, advertising the game that's on at 6:00 during the 2:00 window. He's not going to be on those graphics, but he's going to be somebody that I think Kentucky fans will grow to love because of how hard he plays.
This video isn't about him. I think it's a wait and see with Brandon Garrison. I think it's a wait and see if he'll be back. I think if he's back, I think there's a very large role for Brandon Garrison on this team, especially in the ramp up to Quain's coming back. And the role is large enough to where if his role's too small when Quain's is back, he will have options following. Or I'm eating into Quainton's minutes, type of thing. Because coming off a torn ACL, like, I love Quaintons. I think he's a top 5 pick in the next draft. We don't actually know what he will look like next year. No. For some people, it takes a lot longer to get back to what they used to be. And so if I was BG, I would stay. But if I also could understand if BG was like, hey, these are a lot of big men in the rotation. I want to go somewhere where I know I will be able to play. So, but I do think there's a role for him. Obviously, I think Diabate's role is good. If I'm being honest, I think Diabate has the most clear-cut role of the 4. And he is the most irreplaceable of the 4 as well.
Do you know what he strikes me as?
What's that?
He strikes me as the power forward or the 4-spot equivalent of Otega Oweh.
I like that.
Because Oweh grew into a much bigger role at Kentucky than anybody anticipated he would. But Kentucky needed that toughness and that aggressive mentality that he brought to the table. Diabate is the same kind of thing, where Oweh had a bigger role at Oklahoma than Diabate had at Alabama. But Alabama relied on Diabate. And he has that same kind of toughness mentality, that same kind of aggressive mentality. I think the more that permeates through Kentucky, I think Mark Pope saw that as something he really, really liked and Kentucky really benefited from.
Yeah, I think Mo Diabate developing in the way Otega did. If he even makes, like, let's say 30% of the development Otega did in terms of growing into that bigger role, talking about a national championship team. Like, if Mo Diabate develops any resemblance of a consistent, decently high volume 3-point shot. Like, let's say he's able to shoot. I'm not 40% probably is a stretch, even though he did it at Bama. Let's say he shoots low 30s
Yeah.
on 3 to 4 attempts a game. This team is really tough to guard, like really tough to guard.
And
And now, by the way,
now they'll guard you.
I was gonna say if Clayton's is, I'll say 75, 80% of what he was at Arizona State. Like he doesn't even have to get back to 100%. Good luck, especially if Ortega comes back. Especially if Ortega comes back.
Try to tell you guys about Mark Pope, man.
He did. He did.